Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Going In Blind. So today we have a special presentation of the decks that are going to be the Final Fantasy X themed decks. Okay, so these are decks that are made like this show is called Going In Blind. So I don't know how to play this game, but I made the decks. I decided to buy every playset of the cards in the category 13 card pool. And so, yeah, I decided to take a brief look at the title rules as well as the standard and all-star rules, the L3, L6. I don't know much about it. I don't know how the cards play, but yeah, I decided to do that. And so we got these decks that, well, they're trying to be flavorful and functional. I don't know much about the function. This is one of the hardest of the series that we've made, which is gonna be the Final Fantasy X one. We have already made Final Fantasy 1, 4, 7, 15, and 13 by this point, and yeah, we've got a little bit better at this, knowing the card pool, what the cards want to do. You know, we've had some that are like very elemental heavy, some that are summon heavy, some that are kind of thematic, like Final Fantasy 1 is all about those chaos beasts, you know. It's all about those multi-element stuff, and it's got a really small card pool, so I guess we just did dual decks. Whereas Final Fantasy 7, we have 11 freaking decks, and none of them adhere to a specific kind of like element. It's just themes on themes on themes, and it's very dependent. Every character wants to work with another character. They're all spread between a lot of colors or elements. And then we get to Final Fantasy 15, which is kind of the newest game, so it's got a small card pool. You can only make like Noctis stuff and the Backstreet Boys, so I like to call them, or Arden stuff and the Captains. It's kind of like you can have a Kingsglaive deck. That's the third one, and then we're halfway on the fourth deck. Okay, so we have 3 decks and a half, and we don't really have enough of a card pool. But then there's another set of decks, you know, like Final Fantasy 13 is all about the summons. Final Fantasy 4 has only one summoner, and that's gonna be the summoner deck, but it's all about the different kinds, like Dragoon, it's about the ninja, it's about the, you know, like the warrior, and the it's just it's interesting, you know, the mages and the apprentice. You know, you got different kinds. So for this deck, the flavor versus function of it, I don't know much about the function. I'm gonna be honest, Guardians is a very strong deck according to some YouTubers, but I don't know how to play the game. I have never played a game. I've only played one game against someone that also didn't know how to play. We bought the dual decks for Final Fantasy 15, and I said, I'm gonna make a deck tech about this. Yeah, so it's been 6 months and I'm still making deck techs about cards that are not like what I played, and I still don't know anything, and I want to keep it like that. I don't want to know anything about the game until I'm done with these videos, because it's so fun. It's been so fun making these decks, and so I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. I know a little bit about Final Fantasy X. I didn't play it all the way through, but yeah, these are gonna be the Guardians. There's more than these 6, obviously, but there's only enough card pool for these 6 decks. Okay, so Final Fantasy X is a world that is flooded with water. It's just an island world. There's no like big country with an army with like a lot of landmass. No, it's islands, and the people somehow can breathe underwater too sometimes, and you know, you got the Blitzball, blah blah. But yeah, this journey is about Yuna, which is a summoner, and she will be taken island by island, cleansing every place as she gets to make the final Aeon. And yeah, the final Aeon is going to be the end of her journey, but along the way she not only, you know, meets Guardians, but gets more you know, is guarded by the Guardians, but gets more, and we learn what's going on really in the story, what the final Aeon really means, who these people are, and yeah, it's pretty interesting. So we have the Guardians, and that's gonna be the flavor of these decks. We have Auron, we have Riku, Pain, and Yuna, which are going to be the Gull Wings, right? We have Kamari, and on Kamari's deck is Lulu inside. This is gonna be an Earth Lightning deck. And we have Waka and Tidus on this deck. And we have the Summoner deck, which is gonna have Vraska and Yunalesca as well as Yuna. And because this is a Summoner card, we decided to put the Yuna and Tidus in, but it doesn't have any Tidus aside from that one. And that card's way more flavor than function by a lot. And then on Aaron's side, we have Aaron, Jekt, and Vraska. So this is technically like that theory, like Final Fantasy 10-0 instead of 10-2. That's like the prequel game. It's all here. And then we have Riku with the Praetor and the Nuge. Like those cards, I don't get those guys. I didn't get that far in the game. But yeah, we have Pain is kind of like a Gullwing deck. Riku is kind of like a Gullwing deck, but it's going to be all the Pains here, all the Rikus here, all the Yunas here, and all the Wakas here, all the Kamaras here, all the Aarons here. Yeah, they're separated by Guardians. Maybe in a deck they work well all together, but what we're trying to make is the most use out of the card pool. However, this is gonna be by far, this has got to be the hardest one to make, because you know, if you saw the 13 ones, they made themselves. Final Fantasy 7, I spent so many weeks reading that, but I still ended up with a pretty big chunk of cards that go nowhere, cards that really don't have a home, and they don't have enough cards to make themselves a new deck. So that's kind of odd. But in the case of this game, we do have enough cards to make their own deck, but they have no rhyme or reason. Like, it's this big pile, and they're just monsters for the majority of the part. Just like with Final Fantasy 13, the monsters here play not much part in either flavor or function, so that's what all those cards are gonna be. It's pretty big to make their own deck, but it's like all 6 elements. We don't want that. That doesn't make much sense, and we're trying to make a leader for each of these. So the only one that's missing a leader is going to be Earth Lightning one, because we don't have a Kamari or a Lulu that can get to either of the elements. So that's gonna be like a leaderless deck, kind of. It's the only one that doesn't adhere to the rules of every deck has its element follow the leader's element. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer. But yeah, let's keep going. I will show you each and every one of these decks. They'll have their own video. But yeah, so Aaron has a lot of Jeks, it has Vraska, and its final Aeon. Pretty cool, it's only fire. On the other side, we have Waka and Tidus, and Yunas, it's only water. 2 extreme decks, right? Polar opposites. But we also have a lot of water left. So we have a whole water deck, and then 2 more water decks, which is one of them being the Summoners, which have that Yunalesca and Vraska water ones. And then we got the Pain, which is going to be Gullwings. So this is gonna be Gullwings on water. I think this also has Rikus. It just has them on water. And then this one, it has ice stuff. So it will have the Yunalescas and the other cards that are ice. So everything ice goes in here, everything lightning goes in here, and there's very little amounts of lightning and earth cards, so they all go here. And then everything that is wind is going to be divided by these 3 decks. So wind is very heavily influenced there. There's very little amounts of ice, there's a lot of fire, and they're all here, and some cards that aren't really very much supported. Okay, there's also a potential water fire deck that's on the way, which is gonna be this Jekt. I don't know how to feel about him though, because this Jekt, we don't really need another Jekt, but we have enough water cards to completely make this deck, and it has some backups too, so that could work. But the problem, the majority of the problem for this deck is that the majority of the cards are extras are going to be Earth. So we have Earth, and we have a lot of monsters which go nowhere. So this is technically these are the cards that don't have a home. Everything else does. Okay, so yeah, Check out those videos. Let me know which one of your guardians is your favorite, right? Let me know in the comments, as well as like, share, subscribe, and follow for more. Okay, I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.